Hi, this is Coach Frye, and we're in the neighborhood. And today on our show, we're bringing something to you that I hope you're excited about. The fact that we use 5 F's. The faith, and we use our focus, and we use friends, we use future, and we use all of this with friends. Faith, family, and friends. And we're going to spin this because that's the way we've been molding things for 51 years. The first part of us is going to be talking about from the very, very beginning when this union got started with this beautiful little girl who was from a little small town. And I'm from the big town of Vass, and Lobelia. So I had to find my way up to find me a girlfriend. So as I played sports at Union Pine High School, some way or another there, we found a way to become high school sweethearts. We're going to talk a little bit about that and a little bit about what happens when the times we got going and what happens for her as she grew up and family, how important family was. And then we'll talk about how important faith is and how faith takes us a long ways. So if you're out there and you're involved and you're in a situation, you've got a family, you got children, and you're on your way to success, and you just want to hear about us. We at another end, and we're hoping we can leave some things with you that you can emulate or you can give us some advice. After 51 years, we don't mind getting advice from some of y'all out there that's doing things maybe a different way, but having as much success. Now here, I am focused, and we're going to talk right now to our faith. Wilma Claudette Roberts Frye.
You did not say my middle name, did you?
I didn't say her middle name. Wilma, where are you from?
I'm from a little town, Carthage, North Carolina, with one big courthouse and one stoplight.
So you from 1177. Yeah, you are from Carthage.
Originally, I had 2 homes.
2 homes. Tell us about the home. Tell us about the first one.
The first one was my grandparents, and the reason being, I'm a twin. So when my mother and father had the first 2, all of a sudden now there's 4 babies in the house. So my grandmother said, I will take Wilma because boy, girl, Daddy was not going to let the first son leave home. So I went, which was wonderful because it was, as I grew up, I realized it was something special. I got all the toys and got all the...
That's how you got spoiled. That's how you got spoiled. And that's what got me with this lady who was all alone being raised by 2 grandparents. And she got her way. And man, oh man, that means she used to direct them. You remember you told me a story about you and Papa was out there working on the outside, planting a garden?
Yeah, he would go out and plant his garden in the heat of the day. And I was just sitting there. I was bored. I didn't have kids to play with. So I was laying across the bed looking out the window at him. And I was saying, now, Papa, if you'd have went out there earlier, I'd have went out there and helped you chop that garden. It's just too hot out there.
So I married this prima donna who does not go outside in the heat. So then she married a future track coach. We started seeing each other a little bit because I was the best athlete that could officiate ball games. And around the county, I'm a couple of grades ahead of her. And I started calling championship ball games. And they sent me off to her school to call a ball game with my championship team getting ready to destroy them. And her team was leading by 1 point. And she fouled somebody, and I had to make the call. Isn't that the way it was?
Yeah. Yeah, the thing was, I kind of had goo eyes for him, but after that, you were done, bud.
She said I cheated.
He did. It was his hometown. And we confronted you too.
She said I cheated. I was really calling like I saw it. The best team had the last shot at the basket. And we made it. The other team.
See what I mean? Favor.
The other team made the basket. And do you realize for a whole year, she came to the school and I saw her in the hallway and she would turn away from me. And then somebody said something about we had the same birthday.
That's right.
And
And that kind of turned my head a little bit.
yeah, she started looking at me, and then I saw her. She was some girl was arguing with my brother, and I went in to break the argument up, and she told me, you need to stop it. He's all right. She was wrong. Oh Lord, you remember that?
Yep. Sarah's always in someone's face, and I was being ugly. I shouldn't have said that, but I was going like, he shouldn't have. But anyway, he got on his brother, and I said, Sarah's always busy. You shouldn't have done that.
And then I grabbed her by the hand.
Yeah, and we walked the hall, and I still was kind of mad at you. He didn't know I've always been mad at him because every time I'd see him, he was chasing some little cute girl. And I was going like, I don't know why I keep seeing him and why. Because we had gone to different schools. And then, like you said, the basketball game, I saw him again. But this time when he got on, I said, he has a little bit of caring about him in that he looks after women. That was a plus. And I said, okay, he might be all right.
So then I decided I'm going to get to be the manager or help out with keeping score for the JV girls basketball team. And every time I get on, I had the scorebook. And she wanted to see how she did. I knew that was a hook there. She wanted to sit on the seat to see the scorebook, to see her name, because I kept up with all the scores. And so before you know it, she was watching the scorebook. And next thing I was walking to her locker. Oh, boy. Yoo-hoo! And then we started going to church together. And I started meeting her grandfather, Willie
Hayes.
And he was a minister.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't let nobody come to the house.
He was a deacon, and then, believe it or not, he started preaching at 63. But the whole thing is, I did a lot of church. And it wasn't bad. It was good for me, as you see. I was very sheltered. I had two things. I go to church, and I go to sporting events. That was my life. Thanks heavens, this guy right here loves sports, too. So that was number two.
Oh, goodness. But I tell you what, I remember a lot of times Papa made me get out. At 11 o'clock, I had to leave the house.
That's right. His rides would forget him or wouldn't come back to get him. And my grandfather was very strict. You got to go. It's 11 o'clock.
I go stand on
not
the
11:01.
She like to get me in trouble all the time. You know, we made that habit, and it stuck together. And then we made it all the way to the next thing was I went off to college and then ran around there at Sand Hills, and you were over there at high school, and you became the star. You got voted the what? The athlete of the year or something?
Oh, yeah, in the senior superlatives. Yeah, I was most athletic for the girls. There's a girl, a boy.
Oh, my goodness.
I played 3 sports, so I was proud of that.
You'll find out later from the other part of the F's that who is the best athlete in the family. I'm not going to tell you, who was the best athlete in the family, but we're going to get some voting going on here in a little bit, and we'll figure out who the best best athlete in the group. But at Sand Hills Community College, where both of us went, we both come from families. Nobody had a college education. Neither our grandparents or our parents finished college. And fortunately, we were able to go to school. And the blessings that we have, that we've stayed together 51 years. And you've tolerated a whole lot of moves and a whole lot of things. So, hey, guys, it can still happen. So tell us some of the things then that you have to overcome, and sometimes when you're involved with somebody that starts out at East Carolina University coaching, and in the first week you were married at East Carolina, you had to stay at 9 days.
Oh, yeah. First of all, the day we got married, the people that I was employed with gave us a whole week, a free week at Myrtle Beach. My husband informed me, we got to get home. I've got to take off and take the team to Duke the next day. I went, we don't get our honeymoon? And then after I got there, he told me, well, I'm going to be gone 2 days. 2 days in this strange town by myself? And I said, I want to go home. And he said, no, this is home. So I realized it's home. And that's the way I grew up that night.
Hey, I remember getting back from that road trip, and she was upset in the room, and I had left a bag or something. It was in a bag that I found from a long ride road down to West Point to teach myself how to be a soccer coach. And in that bag, these guys had left this stuff.
Oh.
It was not a good scene. They had something that was called hashish, and it was in a bag. And I came home, the boys, I got there, and they had ridden from New York all the way south with me because I picked them up because I was sleepy and tired from being up there for 2 weeks at West Point. And it was Labor Day weekend, and they rolled me down, so I just took it. And somebody told me, say, well, that's a lot of value. And I put it up I put it up in a cabinet. And I got back from a road trip. She found the cabinet. And what'd you do with the stuff you found?
Flushed it in the commode. I said, you don't do that, do you? What have I gotten into?
she thought I was a bad boy. I'm so glad she flushed it in the commode because I didn't know what I was going to do. But I said somebody told me it was valuable. You thought I was a dope, that I was on drugs. Yeah, Lordy. And stuff. So
I didn't know about it, but I heard about it, and it looked like it.
It looked like you just took it and flushed it in the commode.
That's right.
We moved a lot. We got a long ways through that. It took us 6 years. I think some of the excitements were the times that we end up having to house the best basketball player in America.
David Thompson.
Oh, you remember?
David Thompson came to see us, yes, and he was driving this little Mercedes Sports, and I've always wanted a Mercedes Sports. Ever since the day that we drove his little car, it was cool. And he spent the weekend with us. And
we got off to a start with David Thompson. We have been married just a little while, and we are having celebrities around.
Yep.
And so she decided.
So everybody came to our house at night.
Everybody come to
They heard he was in town.
We were playing cards, David Thompson. And then we end up recruiting the #1 athlete in America. We recruited Carter Ray Suggs.
That was in track and field.
Track and field. And so we were involved as I was being involved as East Carolina, the director of facility and the head soccer coach. And my wife was making more money than me.
No figures tonight.
No figures. I'm always telling everything.
To the cent.
Well, you're learning some things about us, but I'm going to tell you what, I want you to really understand. You don't start at the top. No. It's the struggles and the things that you go through that makes it worthwhile. And so 51 years, and we spent that time, and we got to David Thompson, and we got the recruiting the #1 guy in the country, and then you decide, 4 years later, you says, well, I don't want, you said the first year, I don't want to have no babies. I want to have fun. I want to go where you go, everywhere you go. And then we found the best friends to hang out with.
It was, we had actually 3 couples, and those 3 couples, we have been friends with them up until today. The only thing is we lost our best friend a year ago. That was the Crumpler.
Oh, Gertha Crumpler.
Gertha Crumpler.
And she's the mother of...
And she had just come to Kurt's retirement party, and we lost her the next month.
Tell them who she's the mother of.
She's the mother of Algie Crumpler, who played for the Atlanta Falcons.
All-Pro 3 times.
Yeah, and also Callista Crumpler, who
he also
played
was
for the
a
Colts.
Super Bowl. He played with them Philadelphia. That team up there in Boston that I don't like.
We went to this game the first time.
That Boston football team that had that quarterback that everybody calls him the best quarterback. What's that Boston team that won all the football games? New England Patriots.
Oh yeah. Algie was.
Yeah. And then they had the other Crumpler. He played
in, I know it was in Seattle.
Yep, Seattle Seahawks.
Right.
And the daddy was the guy that played for Buffalo in front of for OJ whenever OJ was holding out. So that family ended up being our best friend. So we just kept rubbing hands and rubbing nose and with some. We just
met
have
a lot of good
fall
friends.
in with great friends, and they had family, and faith was very important. You know, it's amazing when you have focus on the right things. When you focus on faith, people with faith find a way to be in your presence. So we're encouraging you to be involved with your religious experience, your Bible, your church, and those things right there. Having something to focus on, and faith is the first thing, was our focus because of our families.
Faith. Did a lot of praying. You know, out first, when we first begun, because like you said, you traveled a lot, and I grew up wherever my grandparents was, I was there. And when you get used to traveling and being with your family 24/7, then all of a sudden he leaves me the first 2 nights, and I'm going like, oh. So we realized that what is important, you have to communicate. You have to renew those vows and say, I ain't going nowhere, even if I get upset or whatever. And then it becomes a joy because you know that we're grown. We're not going to.
Commitment. Always stay in the same room.
Yeah.
Every night.
Don't you leave that house.
Don't leave mad.
You can go to the other room, but don't leave now.
And come.
And
simple things.
Just simple things.
Boy, I tell you what and that family you had up there at 1177, and those reunions that we used to have up there, and that your mom and dad and your and what about your grandparents? The one who started that family reunion with 500 kids 88 years ago, they had a family reunion. Your grandfather, Sign Roberts,
Lindsay
the one
Robertson.
that could spin that chicken bone.
Yeah, I can't. Johnny,
that was your uncle, and
he lived to 105. But the Roberts family, we are on our 86th family reunion. Yeah, so family is really big file, and that.
Yeah, when you were 15 years old or 16, you took me to the family reunion. And my mom had already knew about your family reunion. So that's when my mom felt like it was okay. I went to the family Roberts reunion, and my mama knew Miss Gurley. And Miss Gurley was your
grandmother.
Your grandmother.
Yeah.
So even though they're 18 or 19 miles away from each other, which is in the country, that's a long ways away.
Yeah.
Never seen a place where 500 people get together and celebrate a family
We had 3
reunion.
nights of it. We'd have the fish fry on Friday night. Saturday, we have the dance or any kind of fashion show or whatever. And Sunday is church, and we do songs and praise dancing or whatever.
Still do that stuff.
We still do.
We just did it just this past.
Yeah, we did.
This past Labor Day weekend. Was that it?
That's right.
And so family and staying together, it really takes you to another level. It has taken us for 51 years.
Right.
And we're going to spend some time as we finish. You know, this is our segment, and I'm so thankful that you went through the university. You went through East Carolina University. You went to Douglasburg. You went through Douglasburg to NC State.
NC State, from NC State, the Florida Gators, and from Florida Gators back to the other Carolina Tar Heels. They call that. We are.
And from right on there,
the real Carolina,
to the University of South Carolina, where I became the head coach, and you became the queen of the head coaching, because we role model ourselves of Jim Valvano's and Coach Carson's wife, and having kids into our house. And we'll get a chance to talk about those things when we bring the others on. But right now, we're going to close this session. If you guys want to hear more and more about marriage, a relationship, and how struggles turn into triumph in the marriage, focus, faith, and my wife got one more word to say.
And I don't think I said that. Communicate. Did I say that?
Yo, boy.
You've got
you
to
know what?
communicate,
I've been getting
and you will
stopped
go a long
all
way.
these years because if I leave
Don't
off
stop
communicate,
talking.
don't stop communicating. But this is Coach Frye in the neighborhood. Join us again on the next episodes here on the network with Coach Frye in the neighborhood. Thank you, darling.